sure to.
Yeah, I just got
The meeting right there is the rest of the board of directors. We should be talking about
We called the meeting to order before, but I'd like to do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's call the meeting to order before we went into executive session for employee review. And now we're in the open part of the meeting. If you have a matter to discuss that is not included on the agenda, you may do so by addressing the chairperson and stating your name and address. You will notice that all our meetings are recorded, and this is to aid with the summarization of the minutes. Visitors are welcome, and we allow 5 minutes of comments per visitor and 15 minutes per topic. Discussions will be held in a calm and civilized manner and respectful of others. Select board members present are
Mike and all.
Nancy Bashika.
John Wright.
John Dunn.
Will there be any adding of items from tonight's agenda or removing of items?
I have new correspondence since the agenda was created.
Yeah, I have update on the auditors, Forest Service, I just got a letter from them. And an update on the reappraisal or Act 68 listers, what's going to be happening, might be happening in the state. Will there be any adjustments to the agenda, such as changing the order of items? Jeb is recording tonight's meeting for his YouTube video site. And we've got a lot to cover tonight, so let's hearing the visitors.
The visitor?
Yep.
You have my insurance application, so I can plow a portion of the Class 4 road on County Road.
Yes, I
Yes.
have it.
Yes. Yep.
And I put in your box the draft agreement that you used in the past.
We've allowed this before, there was no problem with it before. Dave, according to this, you'll sign it and everything, it's going to be recorded in the land records.
Okay.
Every year you'll have to update your certificate of insurance.
Understood.
Dave will inspect it every year. If there's a problem, then we will address it and either withdraw it or make suggestions. Was there any other comments on this, or?
Nope.
Is it commercial auto? How does it work?
Commercial.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Million, yeah. I wanted to check the other one's a certificate holder, that's us, I think. I think it's like with all the other ones, okay.
Yeah, do you want to see it?
No, I haven't. Hold on. Yeah. I have no objections and
Oh, no.
make a motion to allow Brian
Motion.
Jowett to plow from the bottom up, well, where's he plowing from? Where are we?
Where the,
Somebody else is already plowing.
Somebody else is already plowing part of it.
Less than a quarter mile.
yeah, I'm going out to your driveway.
From where the other person stops.
Alright, but if they decided not to, you want permission to be able to do it.
I think, yeah, I think permission to plow the whole thing.
Yeah.
So the beginning of the class 4.
You want to look, risk ranch to it, do that?
Sure. I'll do the whole road.
County. To your gate.
Yes. It'll be the second, and we passed it. Sometimes when we pass the gate, we have the gate that'll go up to the view on the property, and then there's the camp, which is just another short.
Want to go to camp?
Permission to plow to Klondike.
Klondike,
Perfect. That's.
Because that's the end of your property there.
You don't have to, but you can. It's probably easier to just go there, because you guys want to turn around anyway. Yeah, so.
To Klondike. Okay. So that's the motion, grant permission for Mr. Jowett to plow the Class 4 road from County Road to the Klondike intersection.
Laura's got a question.
The snowmobilers are going on that, because that's the loop. So,
Yep.
can you leave
Some on the right.
some on the right?
Certainly.
Perfect.
I'm a snowmobiler myself, so.
Thank you.
It's a concern, yeah. I don't want to scrape it down or make it
Yeah.
passable, so.
Rocky, mud and dirt.
yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have a
Or
second?
did we make a motion?
Second.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'll work out the agreement,
Take a look, yeah.
fill it in, and send it to you to sign, and get you a signed copy once.
Excellent.
Reading and approval of records and orders from December 5th.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep. Road conditions, Dave.
Winter,
Winter.
summer. We're just dealing with the weather and repairing the equipment.
Okay.
You know, it's plenty busy, so.
You're doing better than the states doing. I can tell you that much. I came over Route 9 last night, 9 o'clock. Tractor trailers all.
Shut it down.
I just made it by and then they shut it down right after.
Well, they keep using that color code to plow the state highways, and that's what happened.
Yep, they didn't plow Searsburg at all, which was actually better because there was enough snow to stay in the road.
That just comes down, it's pushback, right?
Yeah, it's not, yeah. Last night I was getting nervous. The tractor trailer was there. There's other tractor trailers coming over the crest and nobody's following them. I'm flashing my lights, slow down.
They've made it treacherous enough for themselves, they've had their own trucks off the road
Right.
lately,
Yeah.
so.
Dave, I wanted to thank you for applying for the, about the loss control follow-up for the safety measures that the LCT recommended for the garage. And you got the eye wash station. The eye wash, Lori submitted $453 and we got reimbursed $134. However,
We were penalized because we hadn't made the effort to correct at least 50% of the items they listed. So they are only reimbursing us 40% on that.
so what I'm gonna suggest in your budget, put a little extra money so we can do a couple other of the items that they requested, and a couple of them aren't bad at all.
Yeah, I think we did a good number of them.
We did some of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, workplace poster, we can get an update this year.
Is it
Just
50%
put 'em up anywhere.
of the recommendations or 50%
I have
of the
some,
money?
these are the latest ones.
It should be 50% of the cost we incurred in buying the items. So if we bought $500 worth of items.
So,
it
but
would've
the
been-
penalty was because we didn't hit 50% of the items mentioned?
Of all of the safety features that they called us out on when they did the inspection of the highway garage.
Or so if there was 10, we had to do
Had to do
5.
5. They don't
They
say.
didn't tell that.
They don't say
They
we
didn't
have
say
to.
that at the beginning.
In which 5? Is it the big ones or the little ones?
They didn't say.
I think we must have done close, you know.
Yeah.
We did what we could.
Yeah, well, check over the report again and figure out something for the budget.
Whatever we fixed, they'll put 10 more on there.
Make a list and check it twice.
They always have.
I think the worst thing was what, the heat? They don't like our wood stove or something?
They don't like solid
No,
fuel burning. Just because they don't like it doesn't mean it's an
right.
issue. They're an insurance company.
We'll deal with it, son, we'll deal with it.
Yeah, they'd rather
Yeah,
have you do something else.
yeah. So we can pick something out, figure it out in the budget.
How often do they do that?
I think we did it once a year, once every
I
other
think
year.
I had it done 3 times in the last 15 years,
Every
maybe.
couple of years.
It depends on, they forget about us.
Yes.
I think.
I mean, COVID didn't help, and like you said, they forgot about us, we're a long way from Montpelier, and we're quiet.
Yeah, we don't have much for trouble, so.
Blame it on that. Okay. Anything else on road conditions? Recycling.
We had to do a repair to the compactor at Jim's son will come. The contacts on the starter were bad. I haven't got the bill for it yet, but I know the parts have been considered $400.
Didn't you have a plan at one point for the recycling? You wanted to move some stuff?
Yeah, at some point I'd like to move the shed, but I've been looking at the shed and it's, in the bottom it's got some, rotting going on some, and the back of it would have to come probably off and put back on. So I don't know if it's really worth it. I was able to push it enough that I get my loader past it for snow removal, so I don't really need to move it at this point. And at some point, maybe we have to replace the shed or something, maybe something different.
Oh, we also talked about some kind of heat, throw an electric heater or something.
Yeah, I mean, we could run a cord behind the dumpsters
Yeah.
out there, so they'd have something, but, I mean, that's, insurance is probably gonna give you a hard time about that, because it won't be just some space heater or something, I'm not gonna do that. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be nice to do that, but, I mean, there's gonna be costs to that. We're gonna have to have electric run to that pole, so there's gonna be a service put on the pole. And
How often when they're there on a Saturday are they inside? Are they constantly outside?
I mean, like one side use the bathroom, outside, but other than that.
That's in the main building, though,
Yeah.
not. But I'm saying when other than that, they're outside.
Really, you kinda gotta be out
Right.
of the shed.
Cause I purchased one of those outdoor heaters, the propane ones.
Yeah,
If you stand underneath that, I don't care how cold it is out, you're warm.
Yeah.
And I got mine it was on sale for $170, and I got two of them. And I just had a Christmas party, we put it outside, it was amazing. I mean, maybe something like that, we can just buy that, leave it up there. I mean, it comes up high and shoots down, so, 10 people, let's see.
You can stand around it.
Yeah,
All we
yeah.
need is 2 people
Well,
standing,
that's
not
what I'm
10.
saying.
10 don't need to be
But it's
talking.
enough to heat it up and keep warm a lot, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's better than what they have now.
yeah, I mean, if that's something you guys wanna do.
Well, I just
for it, and we'll get it.
I think that, it's better than what they have,
Yeah.
Okay.
I have nothing else on recycling. No. Anything else on highway?
No.
All right. Review and revise highway ordinance. Laurie sent us the latest version. It looked okay. Just a couple housekeeping things like renumbering. But everything that was in there last time, did we look it over last time? We did.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna pass it last time.
Yeah,
You
we did.
Found some spelling mistakes.
There was a couple of, couple of stuff that I know. No, it was, no, the computer spelled it wrong.
Oh, the computer, it was a computer problem, right?
Yeah. So I think we found everything else and
Yeah, I have not made the few housekeeping things we talked about today, because I knew you guys already had this draft here, and I didn't know if there would be more after tonight.
Yep.
If you want to see a final at your next meeting and plan to approve it,
I think
another
we'll,
draft.
I'd like to approve.
I think we'll go with it.
Any housekeeping you need to do, you can do. I'd like to make a motion to approve it.
Yep. Approve it with corrections, start the process. If it's approved tonight, then Lori has to put it in the paper. Then it's got 60 days if someone wants to look it over and make suggestions or come to the board. There's a way that they do this. I think it's 60 days.
So it becomes effective 60 days from the date that you approve it. But I will have to publish it in the paper and wait, and as long as there's no objections, then it just comes effective.
Okay. All right.
Did you have a second and a vote?
Who made the motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. Conflict of interest update. I did get a response from the staff attorney at VLCT. If there was a conflict of interest exists if a delinquent tax collector holds more than one office, like Justice of the Peace. And there is no state law that prohibits this, because I'm sure you would have found it before now. But then she goes on to say, it depends. It's everyone's favorite lawyer response. Depends how the delinquent tax collector is paid, depends on if the delinquent tax collector or the JP, if they feel there is a conflict of interest. So right now, well, in 2 weeks, there's going to be a whole new Vermont Code of Ethics that we're going to have to follow and do a conflict of interest policy. So that was the response from the LCT. And then there was another question about the assessor clerk having input with the assessor. No, the assessor clerk does not have any input, just driving around, putting in the values that he sets. So that is our response. And the conflict, yep, that's it. Yes.
So that's definitely not indicative of the questions and the issues that I rose. I mean, it's a small piece of it, but you're kind of sidestepping the main issue. So first of all, the VLCT, what you should have definitely called the ethics committee. The VLCT is like, they're not going to give you that. You should have 1000% contacted the ethics committee. The thing is it's not a matter of the positions being held together. We know that. We discussed this. It's on film. The issue is that she 1000% had input with the assessor because it happened to me. She was on my property with some of you people giving her opinion. And I didn't pay my taxes. That's a conflict of interest because it directly affects her pay. Period. Okay, so why wasn't that brought up to the VLCT? Like, this issue isn't just one of those things, well, you know, the state says that there's no issue holding these seats together. That's not the issue. The issue is that she's had a say in people with the assessor, with the Board of Abatement, and in the Board of Civil Authority. Like, that is a conflict of interest. You cannot hold a position, and if you read the new ethics stuff that comes out, I mean, it is a dummy-proof list. If you did this, you move to this. If this happens, this. If this, conflict of interest. Like, a child could go through that. If you stand to make any financial gain from any position in the town that you are paid for, conflict of interest. Period. And the issue is, she refused to recuse herself from these meetings. That's the other problem. So I don't care what the VLCT says and the lawyer there. They don't care. Okay, they want, oh, you know, the issue is we don't have people to hold these positions. We've been down this road, in this rabbit hole. The issue is we have somebody, nobody wants anybody to leave the position that is the tax collector, okay, the delinquent tax collector. That individual, though, should not have a say moving forward. Listen, I don't care if you think that she didn't give any opinion, because she did. It's an outright lie to say she didn't, because she was on my property. Okay? So then you lied. Then you just lied, saying that she didn't have any input, because she did. She was there having an argument with Kirk Amari, right? Am I correct? It's yes or no?
I I don't remember that. I was there.
If you were there, how can you not remember
Well, we're all
it? It's specific to my property. You weren't there for any other reason.
Right.
Okay, so that's the issue that I'm having. And now you're trying to sidestep and say that things didn't happen. Things happened, okay, so everybody can hear it. Nothing didn't happen. She went above and beyond and benefited from the decision that she made on my property. Because I had paid my taxes, and she stood to collect 10% or 5% of the delinquent taxes for that property. Conflict of interest. Would you say so?
And we
Well-
made that.
You just didn't say it, did it?
We made that decision as a board.
To what? To allow it to happen? So then you're in knowledge of
Taxes
it.
or not abate them or lower them.
Okay, but she had a say in it. Why was she there?
Well, I'm sorry, but at that time, we didn't.
So I have to get my attorney involved again, and we'll come with another lawsuit?
Okay.
Because I got no problem with it. Okay, I don't want to go that route. I just want what's right for the town people. Okay, so she financially benefited from her decision for me. It's all on film, it's all on tape, it's all in minutes, and my attorney will chew that up. So if we want to go down this road, then that's fine. But I think that it would behoove you to do what's right for the people of the town and not just, oh, we'll call the VLCT. I've been pretty patient and just bringing forth the basic stuff, but to sit there and outright lie and say that she didn't have a say in the assessment is kind of aggravating. And I apologize for raising my tone if I just did, but it's one of those things where this isn't a baby issue. This is a massive issue. Who else did it bother? Because I've talked to a handful of people that it's affected. Okay? And that for whatever reason, people don't want to step up and have this conversation, but I'm good. It affects my dollar and my money in my house and my family. So guess what? Again, it's not personal, like we discussed. It's everything to do with what's right and what's wrong. So I can assure you, when the new ethics committee stuff comes out on the 1st, and I'm sure you've read it, or some of you have read it at least, you're gonna see that if I make that phone call to the ethics committee again, that they're gonna be like, yeah, that's an issue. So if it's gonna be an issue now, then, why isn't it an issue now?
So I want to know, I've already voiced my opinion last meeting about how I feel. The only thing I disagree with is, or not disagree, I think the wording of, and I don't think Nancy's a liar, by the way. I think that.
I don't think she's a liar, but she lied.
Let me finish while I'm talking, okay? Let me finish while I'm talking.
Don't talk to me like a child.
I didn't cut you off, I let you talk.
I'm just saying.
Listen.
I didn't say she was a liar, I said she lied.
When I'm talking.
Well, don't say you misrepresented it. I said she lied.
But I'm making an opinion now. I can talk to
Go ahead.
me. But I would like to finish before you cut me off, okay?
Go ahead.
Can I have that respect? I gave you that.
Sure can.
And I'm not talking to you any louder than you talked,
Hey, Ben.
okay? So what I'm asking is when we say she didn't have a say, or when Nancy says she didn't have a say, and then there's an opinion that she had an opinion, I think there's a definition that she's saying, well, when she talks to the assessor, her opinion doesn't matter. That say part of it, he doesn't put that into account no more than your opinion or my opinion. It's just an opinion. And every person, no matter if they hold a position or not, can go to the meetings, can go even the hearings. They can sit in the hearing and voice their opinions no matter what. That part of it, I don't really agree with. I don't think Nancy's a liar. I don't really think that any time that Nancy makes an opinion or a statement, her intention is to lie, ever, okay? I have all the integrity in the world for her. That being said, the conflict of interest part of it is, I do agree with you. I did last week, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. I do agree with you. I think that the conflict of interest of the vote part of it is a conflict of interest. If I'm voting on something, I should recuse myself. That being said, I don't know, and this is, I admit, I don't know what the Board of Selectboard's authority is on an elected position. She ran for an office and was, not only did she win the justice of the peace, but she's a top vote getter. And now, what do we do? Where is our authority to tell her you must step down, other than asking that she steps down? If I ask, if we went and said, okay, would you step down, which would be the easiest way to avoid all these problems, and she said, sure, I'll do it, that would just, everything. But then down the road, another person, like you said, it's not personal. Another person comes in and does the same thing. What do we do? What does the select board's authority do for an elected position? And I don't know the answer. I don't know if you know the answer. I don't know if you know the answer. Where both her positions are elected, both. They're not appointed. It's not the same as a planning board. Like, you're on the planning board, you're a justice of the peace. So I make a motion that we release you of your duties on the planning board. Right? You're done. We kick you out. We got the authority to do that. But as justice of the peace, we don't. And I don't believe we do. And I think that that's something if we don't have the power, I don't know what we can do. If we do have the power, then I would like to follow through on it and say, okay, well, if there's and I do believe that an ethics committee would hands down say there's a conflict of interest, because I do agree, and I like both you, I like Sally. It's not about that, no. I just believe that anytime you're making money from your vote, it's a conflict of interest. I do believe that wholeheartedly.
I don't think it's just a vote, though. I think you shouldn't even have a say, because you can be influential in the community on any level. And Sally's now I'm sorry for using her name, but I only did because you did.
That's okay.
So she's extremely influential in the community. A lot of people listen to her. A lot of people take what she says. She's been here long enough. I think she's earned that. Okay, nobody's saying that she isn't being right with whatever she comes up with for a topic. But she 1000% sat there and put in there, in my the assessor did. So when you said she didn't have a say with the assessor, you don't believe that? Well, she wrote that my property had upgrades on it, driveway, septic, and well. She said that. And what was in my report from the assessor? That exact thing. So yes, she did do that. And again, I don't speak for anybody else in the town. Okay, I speak for what happened to me. And so all these things, so she did do that. So she did have a say. She did have an influence, because her exact words were put into my assessment that he specifically said. That you guys then in return went and rebutted a little bit by saying, hey, yeah, he's got a driveway, so what? I mean, there's no structure here, and no, there's no septic there. That's fine, but bottom line is she had a say. She's influential. Anybody in that position should not even have a say, should recuse themselves from the conversation, period. Okay, it's not just a vote, because again, you may be more influential than Doug. Doug may be more influential than, anybody. You know what I mean? I don't know. But we know some people have more clout in the town than others. Mm-hmm. And so when they speak, people listen. So,
Understandable.
And when you come in, so
if that's true, I'm not debating you on one issue, or one time that it happened. If that's true, the justice of the peace is the part that makes her on all the committees.
The justice of peace puts her on the board of civil authority.
Puts her on all the boards.
And Board of Abatement.
Right. If she wasn't a justice of the peace, and she was the clerk assessor, and they're working together that day, and she says, just her and him says, Peace Property's got this, and this on it. Still has an opinion, but she doesn't have a vote anymore. That's why I say the vote is what matters. The influence on him, she can call him on the phone and tell him. I mean, that part of it is, you're not gonna stop that. I could call, you look at people on Facebook and go, hey, Pete's Property's this. It's out there. And depending on who says it, becomes gospel. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying the vote part of it, the justice of the peace part of this equation is the big issue.
We just contact the state.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we contact the state and let them know that there's been a conflict of interest in the town where voted in position, okay, financially benefited from a decision that she was a part of, and she should be removed as justice of the peace.
Okay.
It's pretty simple.
I think the process is that the select board has to vote on if there was a violation, if they feel like there is a violation. I clearly think there was a violation in the fact that she is JP and has say-so. That's clearly, like you said, this part here is,
It's not, yeah.
I don't think there's really anything there, but you need to vote on it. It was there, yes, then a letter needs to go to the ethics commission in the state. And then they go that route.
Unfortunately, we did not know it back then when Sally, when they took offices, had these 2 offices for more than 10, 12 years. We've never had this problem. It's never come to any of our minds that there was a conflict. Going forward, we have to abide by the code of ethics, so that's what we know we've got to do that. So we'll follow up on it then, and Pete, you have to do what you
Yeah,
got
so what you're saying is that you don't have to vote on whether or not you're gonna send this to the state because you didn't know what happened in the past, but it's like knowing that somebody committed a crime, just because you didn't know at the time, but you know now, doesn't relieve your duty to report it.
We're
right?
required to report it then? I don't know that.
I think you're wholeheartly should be reporting it. I mean, you're an elected official
I
for the
think they have to take
town.
a vote on it and then report.
Well, that's, my question is not, I guess what you just said, Nancy, is were we required back then? Deb, when you said you brought it up, that was the same year of this process, right?
It was
Same year, it wasn't 10 years ago, that's what I'm saying,
No.
right? So what Nancy talked about was 10 years
I've
ago.
come in front of
Yeah.
boards in the past for
Yeah, the same
conflicts.
process.
This is, I've
with your
probably done
home.
it 3 times.
Well, I remember you doing it with your home this year.
And I've
I
done
don't
it in the
remember
past
before.
too,
Okay.
yeah.
But it wasn't
Because
10
of-
years ago by any means.
Might have been.
Well,
Actually, yeah, I'll have to pull my records.
yeah, I don't remember it, but that's okay, but,
I've always brought it up.
well, no, I'm just saying, I don't remember 10 years ago that there was any ethics thing with those 2 positions at all. It might have been that person, but I don't remember the 2
There's
positions.
definitely a conflict, yeah.
Yeah, so, but now is what Pete's saying is now that it has been brought up to this level, we have to look at it and say, is it or is it not a conflict of interest to have these 2 positions?
Only if the delinquent tax collector gets paid the way she's paid now.
Yes, that is correct.
So if you go and just change her pay, it doesn't eliminate the fact that it's still gonna be a conflict of interest. I mean, that's what you're saying right there. I know where you're getting at, but she,
Basing it on that.
honestly, and that's funny. I mean, good for you, kudos, because I knew that was coming, but, bottom line is, the position, why I'm calling for that right now is because she is elected, but she isn't sworn in technically. I mean, she might be sworn in already, she might have, because I think she's allowed to technically, because she already holds the seat. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure, Lori. But if she hasn't, let's say she hasn't been re-sworn in for this coming
She wouldn't
term.
be until after the election.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if she could because she was still, so we have a time frame, a short time frame, where that person it can change, because I guarantee you, like you said, if you went to the JOP or the state and said, hey, we had a runoff election, we had somebody that was on the board that's about to lose their seat, they ran against them in an election and lost, but that person will assume that seat. Again, speculating, but I'm assuming the state would be like, sure, no problem. And that seat would be covered. Because the issue is again, you can't recuse yourself from every job as a JLP and hold the position in good faith. You know what I mean? It's like being a selectman and just never showing up.
Right.
It'd be ridiculous. So, kudos to you though for saying if we change your pay, it doesn't negate the fact that it's already happened. You know what I mean?
Good thought for the next,
Yeah, for the next cycle.
For what?
in case she ever leaves, it's something to think about.
For changing the pay?
Well, no.
No, for changing
Well,
the-
changing the pay or position or whatever.
Yeah.
But making when you have an ethics, something that you have to rules or something.
We have
that
to
you
follow all
make.
those rules,
Yeah.
and they say in there, you've got the whole thing, from what I read, yes. Do you answer this question? Yes, go to, and then go to and just follow the flow chart. But it doesn't say you have to remove yourself
Well, if you
from the
read,
position. But you-
well, no, you're
And then
right.
you write it out that I have to recuse myself because I know you or
Or
Well,
I
you
might
did-
benefit
I might
from.
benefit from
Right,
it.
Right.
It's actually, when you do
Yeah.
recuse yourself, you're supposed to give a reason why.
Well, now with the new
Now.
ethics coming
Yeah.
out, they're not going to accept, I don't want to recuse myself. Like, they're gonna have to give a good faith
Right.
reason, and the state,
Either way, right.
when the state will make the decision whether or not, that they're gonna have the ability to not.
Even if we were to go to the person involved and ask if he would like to step down, this doesn't solve the problem down the road. See what I'm saying? If we
It would behoove the
said,
town.
would you step down as justice of peace? Yes. Let's just say, for argument's sake,
Yep.
yes, I will. We go, we fill in the blank for the justice of the peace, and that goes through, just like you just said. 5 years from now, someone takes over, runs for justice of the peace, and we're back to the same square one. How do we stop
You got
the process?
You got your bylaws.
And that's what we need to do.
Bylaws or
The ordinance.
ordinance or.
But the bylaws don't say,
No, I mean, not the bylaws, but you were just talking about your ethics.
That code of
Right,
ethics
code of
there that we
ethics that
have
you
to
have to
start,
write.
that we have to follow. And
so
the point is
after
there's-
January 1st, we have to come up with this, but this was never in front of us at that time, you know? So I would like to, I just want to make it clean. I want to clean it up. It doesn't make sense not to.
I think if we had an issue with people like joining boards and like wanting to be a part of the community, I could understand the hesitance and being like, I don't
I
want
don't
to do
even
that.
with that, because if there's a money conflict of interest, then we should.
No,
I go other towns, I won't mention them, but they had people that they're making money and it's in the state of Vermont, they're making money and they're on the boards and they run everything.
Yeah.
Right down the line.
I just think for this town, it would behoove the town to not allow those positions to coexist. I mean, it sets you up and it sets the person in the seats,
Yeah.
whoever that is.
We have something similar if you're on,
Well, I can't run for treasurer. I can't run for
right.
treasurer.
She can't be on the select board.
Yeah.
Right, and she can't be on the ZBA.
Right.
So
I get
she can't be a justice of the peace, or a justice of the peace can't be.
Once we write it,
Right.
But at this time, and when the so-called violation, whatever you want to call it, and I truly believe, like you said, it's not whether there was an intent, it's just happened. So if you could call it a violation, whatever conflict, it's happened. It's already happened.
Right.
So if it's happened, we can't change it. You can't go back in the past. Let's stop it though. Let's change it. So I don't have a problem with writing an ethics ordinance that says that you can't run for JP and hold that position. I don't have a problem with that.
holding what position? The
The
clerk?
clerk assessor or,
Tax collector.
tax collector, whatever you want to call
But
it.
they're both elected positions. How do you tell people you can't run for both? That's
Well,
free
there's
election.
no reason why she couldn't be.
Because, just like we just said, a select board member cannot hold
Right.
the treasurer. They're both
Can't run for
elected.
those two positions.
Right, but those are by state law, but by state law, JP and tax collector, there's no conflict.
State law also says if there is a perceived ethics violation or a perceived conflict of interest, you must step away.
What law was that?
From the,
From
It's in the
VLCT
ethics.
and.
No, I just want to look it
From
up.
the-
I don't have it
from the
memorized.
hearing though.
Pardon?
From the hearing, not from
No,
the position.
in general, if there is a perceived conflict of interest, there is. There is. And I think that's what's going to happen, with the new laws that are coming out in January, is, guys, you're arguing something that we all know is a conflict. So we all know it's a conflict of interest.
I
The
thought-
cat's out of the bag. So how is she going to be effective going forward? She's gonna have to recuse.
Right.
So why put her in that position? I thought you guys did address it with her and say, hey, this is a conflict here. We know it's elected, but do you realize what, it just reads, I know we're a small town, but you read about this stuff all the time, corruption and these types of this. Look at Clarksburg and the money that just vanishes, and you don't
This could happen
know.
with anybody in
Yes,
any
it
of those
could.
positions.
So you
that-
just need to nip it in the bud. She can't be on both. She can't.
But, okay,
I don't-
so something comes up with, Sheila, you're just elected JP, and you're gonna hear something on, I don't know, you're gonna have to recuse yourself.
I get it from the CBA.
Right. But
She
even
doesn't
if
have
there's
a
a hearing or
financial gain.
something,
There's a difference between recusing yourself because her neighbor is asking for a
Yeah.
permit,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Or
Financially.
that's a difference than a financial gain.
yeah.
So, and I don't think, I don't know, I thought we got past the arguing whether it was, because you said we're arguing. I thought we got past the arguing part of it and said, how do we fix it now? I thought I was trying to get, I guess I was trying to get past the argument
Did
part of it.
anyone ask her? Would she step aside?
So I thought she was gonna be in the executive session tonight, and she didn't come.
No.
So that's what I wanted to address it
So
then.
no, so we went through a special election which could have been avoided, $1,000 some odd dollars. And this wasn't even addressed with her prior to? I thought,
No,
The special election was when.
Wasn't it before?
no, you had brought it
No,
up.
I brought it up
You
before
brought it
that.
up well before then. Yeah,
No.
that was money.
Again, I think that it would behoove you guys, again, it's my opinion, it doesn't mean anything to hold any clout, but I don't think that, just like you shouldn't hold her position, I think the best move is for anybody holding that position, that both positions shouldn't coexist,
So
period.
here's my, and again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with either one of these. I truly believe there's a conflict of interest. This is I'm not talking for the board, I'm just part of the board. I think that there's a conflict of interest. Not I think, I truly believe there is, okay? It's not an opinion, I believe there's a conflict of interest. You know, 100%. You only can have 100%, not 1,000.
Yeah.
Just
Close enough.
I'm just kidding with you. But it's there. What do we do? So and the question is, what do we do? I kind of got the answer, okay? You guys tell me which way to go. Let's do it.
we're going forward.
Let's do it. Now, I would like to bring the party into an executive session, ask that to make it a smoother transition where the justice and the peace before the first of the year, or whatever, is dealt with. But on the other side of it is, let's just say, no, I'm not doing that. It can happen, right?
Yep.
Then we still go through with this process to make sure that there's an ordinance put in place now, that down the road, we have it in place that doesn't, whether it's state law or not, we can make our own ordinance, right? So we can say, these two positions are in the thought of, or
Clarity.
the board believes these two positions are a conflict of interest because of the gain of financial gain, and
Isn't that what
We're
the
making-
VLCT though said? Didn't they make it pretty clear that the way she's compensated, it's a conflict of interest?
sure,
You guys gotta understand something, when you write a letter or an email to VLCT, they're gonna give you a decision based on what you told them.
right,
It's not what really happened, it's what you're saying to them.
Right.
So if you
One side of the
say-
story.
You're saying something to VLCT on the same issue that I'm saying, we might decide different between.
Sure.
So,
Just like a lawyer.
it happens every single time.
Yeah.
But may I make one suggestion?
No.
You just made a proclamation that you believe there was a conflict of interest here.
Mm-hmm.
May I suggest the board, you make a motion And that way you can open it for discussion and then decide what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
My opinion is going forward, we deal with the code of ethics and our conflict of interest and work on it from there.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
In order to make this official,
Investigation.
yeah, we have a process. Is that correct? Because I've never done this. I mean, this is, I've never done it, so that's why I'm asking the question. What do we do that says, okay, in the event that the party says no, there's a process that shows, yeah, there is. Look at, the state said there is, the LT said there is, I said there is, the board said there is. You know, yes, there is a conflict of interest. What do we do to make it happen, not just a suggestion?
Well, one of the positions would have to be, she'd have to either not be tax collector or not be.
Have to is different than want to. So they're both elected, she was elected by the people, and I don't know, and that's my big question is, can you tell an elected official, you're out of here?
I don't think so.
What,
Not for
but
the
in your treasury
Not,
idea, is it stated that you cannot be both?
Yeah.
no.
No, not these two
No.
positions.
So the thing is, if there's a Board of Abatement or BCA hearing or whatever, just ask that person that's in that job there, collector delinquent taxes, if it's gonna affect your pay to not serve on that hearing.
Just like they do.
So that would be every hearing.
Every hearing.
Sessions of budget.
Every abatement hearing would be.
Every abatement.
Every abatement hearing. Not
Not
so much, well, not every abatement, because maybe they're not asking for abatement of their taxes. How about their assessment? The assessment, I think it would be.
If you're coming in and have any opinion that affects the payment of taxes that you have delinquently not paid yet, is a
Taxes.
recusal.
Taxes, but what
Right.
if it's a part of your taxes, not your taxes?
Doesn't matter. If you stand to make a financial gain from it,
Now or in
the
the future.
decision, because it has nothing to do with the taxes or the penalties and interest.
Right.
It's everything to do with the year's taxes that were not paid. So if I come in for an abatement, regardless if it's for my school tax or whatever the case may be, it's still a conflict of interest.
So I think that we can change the process, going forward. But I want to know is what do you do with the problem at hand? So we could change the process and say, we have an ordinance, just like Jen was saying, is just like we have with these two boards, even follow the state law on the selectman and treasurer and just make it the same thing. Those two positions can't be run together. We could do that, right away, boom, that's an ordinance. But that doesn't stop that she holds two positions now, and she was elected prior to our
That's
ordinance.
only for 1 year, that's fine, because I can say that I'll be a part of those boards, so I can ask her to recuse herself at that point if there's ever an issue or a conflict that I feel, I can't tell her to, but I can bring it to the rest of the people as a recommendation on the board to say she needs to recuse
So,
herself
I mean,
from this
I don't
position.
mind going that route, saying from here on out, these two positions will not be, if the justice pays a 1 piece is a 1 year.
It's not.
2 year.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait.
That-
Oh, tax collectors.
So that's 2 years, you gotta ask someone to recuse themselves,
I mean,
for 2 years.
that's,
I don't think in the law, I don't think that's an option. I think that is a job description of it, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, I don't think you can remove.
I believe what you need to do.
Not from every single one.
You gotta take a motion and have the board on everybody on, an official
I agree.
step.
That's what I was just
And
gonna
so,
say.
once that step starts, then you have ammunition and teeth when you talk.
I wanna know what the step is. That's why I had to
Make a
make a
motion.
motion.
We
If
need
it
to know,
passes,
are
go
all
forward. If
of
it don't
you,
pass, then you just have a conversation.
Mike, you've made it very clear, and I appreciate that, but I think we're going on 3 times now. The other members have not said they feel this is a conflict of interest. And until you all say that, It's just you that wants to move forward. So I really want to hear
Well,
if
Mike and Kurt both said that they, that they both voiced their opinion.
Kurt, but he's
Yeah, but
not
he's
here.
not here.
I'd like to know,
We're supposed to reach out to the ethics committee, the state?
I'd like to know what you guys think.
Where are we supposed to go from here?
Well, I think like
Do you
what
feel it's a conflict of
you
interest?
said is,
Doug and
it's a no-brainer. Okay, it's the simplest thing to do is to eliminate those positions existing together. So vote on
It's
it.
ridiculous to have somebody in that position if they're gonna have to continue to recuse themselves.
Correct.
There may be instances where Nancy brought up where she might not have to, but if you're gonna be on the board and have to continue to recuse yourself, then why be in that position? And that's the point here. So Mike brings up the point, it was an election position. How do we tell the people that you elected her and you were wrong for electing her? And then what we gotta do, tell her you gotta step down?
I don't think we can.
What is the right way to go about this? So we're gonna have to look
And
at
once you realize that you have an ethics issue, you write a letter and you send it to the ethics commission to the state. Meanwhile, you're having a conversation with her, basically saying, this can't happen.
You're on hold.
I just got one question, and I think this will answer everything. One question is, did she or did our tax collector benefit by her decision with Pete?
I think it's a valid question.
No, that's the answer.
What was her, she didn't make a decision.
No, I don't know what the decision was. I wasn't there. I have no idea. If there's monetary
During the
value.
deliberations of Pete's thing, I don't think we can talk about
That was
that.
an executive session.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter, she had a
It would
vote.
be on
So
payroll.
you guys know, so keep that in mind when
She
you
got
make your
paid.
decisions. If you feel that there was a monetary gain,
The
as an
answer to the
ethics.
question is different than
Right.
did she get paid? Did her opinion or her vote matter? We're not supposed to talk about that. If it didn't matter, she still got paid. If it did matter, she got paid. But, so
Point is-
the answer to, did she gain financially even if she didn't show up? Yes.
But it would have been a different issue. I think it would have been a dead
Read the law
issue.
and you'll
Because she got
answer
paid.
your question.
Yeah, if there was a
But she
violation.
didn't necessarily sway the board or anything like that. And I'm not saying she did or didn't, because I'm not talking
She
about that.
benefited from the decision.
That's
She could have
the, yes.
recused herself and still benefit.
And still benefit.
Right, but I think it would have not been, it wouldn't have, for me, that's not a conflict of interest at that point.
Right.
If she recused herself from any deliberation or any voice in my property, there's no conflict of interest.
So here's the thing. So, and I'm gonna be honest. The whole system is a touchy situation, because we all know each other. We all have to, like, quote Dave, we have to live in the same town together. Remember that quote long time ago? And that's true. It's a very, you don't wanna look at it like I'm going, it's a personal vendetta or anything. You're saying, and this, correct me if I'm wrong, you're good with her recusing herself for 2 years.
No,
Even though
not really. I thought it was a year. I
Okay,
misspoke,
even if it was a year.
But at least we could have gotten through like a kind of like a waiting period because she was elected. I mean, the only other thing is that I think if you wrote a letter to the ethics committee or the JLP and said, hey, listen, we got a conflict of interest here, and we had one, she was just elected, we've got town people looking for her to step down, what do you suggest?
Right.
Because she benefits from decisions.
I
think that's...
My question is, and I don't know if anybody in the room knows, can the state say you must step down to an elected
That's
official?
what the ethics commission does.
Or do they
We
recommend?
can't remove her.
It goes-
No, I don't believe they can.
It would
Not
be arbitration. You'd
So it could take 2 years.
Well,
It seems like the simplest, easiest way, and I'm not trying to cater to anybody, is that we make the ordinance right away. So this never happens again. And then after her term goes up, she can't run. Or she can run for that, but not this.
Yeah, I don't.
And in the meantime, yes, I would love to have a conversation with her.
I don't know. So
What don't you know?
you're
about?
saying that,
I don't know. I
you're
don't.
saying the delinquent tax collector benefited from the decision the board made?
She benefited from it because she had a say in it.
But your,
There's no
your
buts.
taxes
She
were-
fought.
But your
I actually
assessment
think
was
she
lower.
benefited whether she had a.
I agree.
Right.
Okay, but my point is we don't know exactly what the vote is because you
Right.
can't say.
Right.
Okay, but
But you know.
I know, okay? So bottom line is she stood on my property in a site visit, in the board, as a board member, as part of the Board of Civil Authority, as JOP, and voiced opinions and had a say and a vote. That's a conflict of interest because you stand to gain from your vote. Let's say that the vote was 1-1. I don't know.
I think,
Okay.
I personally think that we've already agreed on it.
Oh, but she's asking though. So I'm saying that,
I'm
like,
good with her.
so let's just make a motion to make that happen and see what happens. And then we'll go from there moving forward. I think that's your best. You can, I know you don't want to do it, so you're going to vote no, which is fine. Everybody has a vote. Make it the two positions not coexist.
Well, we're going to.
Yeah?
I think I'm gonna make a motion that we're gonna have the ordinance and they don't can happen in the future.
Yeah, but how does that
But
work?
what about the 2 years that she stole?
In that meantime, I think you send a letter to the Board of Ethics that says that there was a conflict of interest because you acknowledged it.
You have to reach out to the state ethics department and see
Right.
what it is.
You know,
Excellent.
I think if you could say, okay, Pete, she collected so much money because of these comments, then you got it, then that would be an issue. I guess what I'm trying to say is there a violation? Did she actually collect some more money because of that?
Well, no, she collected
That would
less.
be real easy.
She collected less, yeah.
She
That
still
would be real
collected.
easy to go to the state and say, yeah, there was like, she used her position.
I don't see
And it could be sort of what you were saying, is that if we could remove that,
Make a decision once you.
then we could take her off because she did something wrong, she violated her position.
I think, I don't disagree, I understand what you're saying. And no, she actually didn't like gain more money because some of my stuff was abated, more so on, not enough to really matter, but she still had a say in that money. You know what I mean? Like,
Could've went down low more.
it could have went down lower, it could have raised up higher, but it could have stayed where it was, and she had a vote in that. So if you stand to make any financial gain whatsoever, regardless if it's $1, 50 cents, or whatever, that's a conflict of interest in that position, and that's just what I'm bringing forward. And the fact, it's just, again, I think we understand that you don't want to go down that route, but I think moving forward, and I think a lot of people in the town would agree that anybody that holds a position that stands to make a financial gain in any position is not okay. And that's just not that position, that could be Lori's position, that could be your position, that could be anybody's position. People are going to be like, oh, so you can make so you're going to have a say in what happened to my taxes, and you can make money off that? Not one person's going to be like, I'm okay with that.
So I did read the ethics decision when it comes to conflict of interest. And one of the words that they use is a perceived image. So perceiving that it looks like you're doing it is almost as bad as it
Correct.
doing it. So, and again, I'm already good with I'm not arguing at all about whether there's conflict or not. And I think that even if there isn't, like, someone said, did he or did he not, or did she not gain money? If it's perceived, you don't know what the deliberation was, but it's perceived that it could be happening. It looks bad. I don't like it. I think it's a no-brainer to me. I don't have a problem making a motion that we have an ordinance that says that the two positions, assessor, clerk, or whatever, or tax, I keep mixing her things up, she owns other stuff, but the assessor, or what is it, delinquent tax collector, that's where she gains the money.
Yeah.
And a justice of the peace do not coexist, that they if you run for one, you can't run for the other. I don't have a problem with that, just like the state law says, select board and treasurer can't run. And I will make that motion if you want to clean that up a little bit.
You can't make an ordinance on like that kind of, they're both
Maybe a
elected
policy.
positions.
Well, I will make a motion that we look into making an ordinance or a call. I want to push forward on that. I think that is easy. The second thing I want to say, well, there's a motion, so unless I get a second, it doesn't matter.
Second.
Agree. I agree that but I don't think it's legal. I don't think we can say you can't run for both.
No, we're not talking about that. Was that motion?
My motion is that the two positions can't coexist. Just like I can't run.
So they don't coexist.
I thought you were
Okay,
making a
but you guys.
So you can't run for, no, this isn't about the violation at all. This is just the delinquent tax collector cannot run for justice of the peace because there's a conflict of interest, perceived conflict of interest of a financial gain.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
That's my motion.
She's coming up for election this year for tax collector.
Right?
What if she doesn't want to be tax collector and she wants to stay justice of the peace?
That issue.
No problem.
That's right. So,
But it's still, we should still put something in our ordinance.
so
Yeah.
If we can, I don't know.
If we can,
okay,
I just
so
don't know that.
if you, I want to make a motion that we look at into it then, how's that? To make sure that we can.
Yep.
So,
Well, you already made the motion, it was already approved for you to make the motion, now you should probably make a motion to look into it.
I don't care how you do it. So if, this isn't my full-time job.
I get it.
So-
It's not mine
So I don't care. I don't care how you guys want to spin that.
We know what we want.
My
We don't know
point
what to
is,
say.
I want to do it, okay? So whatever the motion needs to be, go ahead and do it. All right, fill in the blanks. My second thing is, I don't think we should send a letter until, and this, again, the board can shoot me down. I would like to have whatever, your executive session with the party involved and ask and talk about it, her opinion, maybe the step down where it happens, and then it's clean, and then the motion that I just made that Larry's gonna write up, whatever it says, is gonna clean that up.
Yep,
So if,
that's best case scenario,
But going forward,
honestly.
without sending a letter, if that doesn't happen, then we send a letter.
but going forward, it could happen again though.
No, because we're making an ordinance.
Oh, exactly. All right. If it's
Make it
legal.
ethics policy.
If it's
Make it
legal.
Policy.
Right, a policy.
Yes.
Call it a policy, whatever you want to call
If
it.
it's
You can make an ethics policy that has to deal with that. You just you can't go under what the state recommends or what the state has put forward, but you can exceed it.
Right.
Okay, so my point is I think it's legal.
Me too.
Because ethically, this is an ethics issue.
And it's-
So, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, and I apologize that my language might be a little stuttering and
but
not
nobody
working.
understands
Because it's the first time down the road, but I hope that everybody understands that whether I dot my I's and cross my T's, I'm trying to go forward and make this happen. This isn't something that we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure that the language is good when it goes down the road, but the bottom line is I agree, and so doesn't the board, we just voted on it.
I think you guys have a good plan
It's
moving
good.
forward.
This is nothing compared to the ice cream shop.
Exactly. The ice cream
Nothing compared to what's happening in
I mean,
Pittsburgh.
that was, how many months was that?
Exactly. Well, the thing is, look at the signs, come on.
We didn't vote on it.
We didn't vote on it.
You did vote
But
on
I
it.
would vote on what you said there because you changed it to look into it. I agree with that.
I amended it. I'll make a motion to amend it, to look into it, as long as it's legal. Then
I
we can
agree
go.
with it.
Oh, it's gonna be legal. What if you see the sign ordinance? That you will have to approve.
And the town.
So our motion is to look into it.
Only 3 pages.
I just want to, if it's not legal, of course we can't do it.
So, yeah, right, if it's legal, which I believe it is, but if it's legal, then it automatically gets pushed forward, or do you have to vote again to say that the
No,
positions don't
that's a
coexist?
good point, yes.
Yeah. Well,
Because then that, we don't have to talk about
That's a
it.
good point. I want to make sure that if it is legal, then we make the policy.
we'll
Thank you.
deal with that when it comes up.
I don't think you should deal with it when it comes up, because I don't, you're gonna have this conversation all over again.
It will be a policy, we'll write the policy.
Perfect.
That's what I was.
Are we okay?
Do we have a second on your amended motion to look into it, make sure it's legal?
I said it. Okay.
Legal that the two positions don't.
Coexist.
Financial gain. So do you want to do a vote?
Tax collector should.
It's not that the positions coexist, it means that the same person can't hold both positions. Different words.
I don't think it's an issue
Yeah, my
going
fault.
forward. I don't think it's gonna be an issue in the next year or over here. I think we're gonna have an issue having somebody to fill the position. That's what I'm saying.
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't think we'll have an issue holding either position.
You have somebody that's put a lot of years into the town and been dedicated, and maybe
That's not
the
it.
two
That's not the
positions
issue.
kind of got crossed somewhere along the line. But I think she means well for the town.
Don't disagree.
Yeah,
Nobody
correct.
says that she's doing it maliciously.
Correct me
You
if
know
I'm
what I mean?
wrong.
Which I want to make sure that everybody understands that. Like, I am not going after her saying that she wholeheartedly had an agenda against Peter Greenbush. No, that's not my thing. The whole thing is that it's just a conflict of interest, regardless of who holds that position. And I know somebody would take over both positions tomorrow. So, I mean, I don't want to go down there.
Hold up. Right.
I think we're on path to go in the right
I just
direction.
want to ask Deb something, because you've been on the board of civil authority for a while. 13 of us? 12? This has never come up, talking about conflict of interest on the board when we had a BCA hearing
No, we,
at the board meeting.
I was only on for 1 year. But,
Okay, all right.
and I was maybe involved in 3 meetings, but no, at that time,
You've been there longer,
Lori would probably be.
Not during any of those meetings has it ever come
not
up.
during the meeting. We just never crossed any of our minds.
Well, I
so.
think that happens a lot with
Which is fine.
what we've been going
Because-
through in the past several years. We are evolving as a group, and there's a lot of input, a lot of people care enough to make things right.
Stuff that we don't know and didn't know.
We have
Look
gone.
at the zoning position.
Sure.
It-
There's been other issues where we said, well, that's the way it's always been, and it was wrong.
Exactly.
You know?
Say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I agree, and I think it's a testament to,
You know,
Yes.
one more, I'm just gonna remove it. Yeah.
Are you going to remove it?
Well, one or the other. Someone's got, this room's not big enough for the two of us. That's not a fact. I know. I think I'm good.
Did we officially vote? Are we just?
Yeah, I think we did. Can you vote?
Right.
Yeah, I thought we did.
Nancy seconded. All right, special, did we move on? All right, special, we're gonna be working on, while we're there, conflict of interest, we need to appoint an ethics liaison officer. I brought it up last meeting, and you were here, Doug, but I didn't appoint you, I just thought.
Yeah.
Covered it.
Okay, motion made, Kurt, no, I think we should, when do we need to do this, first of the year?
Yeah.
I would like to have Kurt in the room when we do that.
Okay.
It might be a good idea or two to
Yep.
have him, who might want to do it.
Yep.
I know one guy that doesn't want to do it.
Oh, no, okay. That's fine. Laura, you had something
I
before
got
you raised your
hair.
hand for, I don't know.
Hi, Art Show Board.
You got,
Yeah, we're good.
we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Special town meeting, it was held on December 9th. 3 minutes,
If that.
Did we get the truck
Maybe
yet or no?
minute and a half.
coming Monday.
Monday.
That's only because I was late, I had to get a chair.
True
Took a little
story.
bit longer.
Yep. But we will have to ratify the vote on, when we have our special town, when we have our regular town meeting in March, we will have to pursuant, it has to be readopted, ratified, or confirmed. And the LCT said we could wait until the March meeting and not hold a special meeting because one of the advertising requirements was not met.
We screwed up on the screw up.
We screwed up on the screw up, yeah.
Good thing
You mean our,
it's three
just this last week election?
What's that?
No,
No, the special town
the
meeting.
fire truck one.
Oh, the fire truck.
Yeah, we screwed up on the screw up, but we don't really need to have a special town meeting because I think that the people spoke during the meeting, so we'll be okay.
They spoke one time.
One time.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Yay. 2 yays, so we're good.
No nays.
Out the door.
Okay. Anything else on that, Lori? No, I think we're good. Correspondence.
So our auditors have sent to us the engagement letter for the 2025 audit. They're not ready to schedule an appointment to come here yet. I'd like to wait until the year ends and everything is situated with the books before coming. So like last year, we may not have the fund balance figures by town meeting like we're used to. But the price this year is $26,500.
Oh, we knew that before, didn't we?
We knew that before. So it's a duplicate copy, so they will alternately have one, and we will have one.
Didn't we sign this, didn't we sign this last time? Too, we had to take 2 years?
Yeah,
More than one of us?
when they
Or
accepted
just
the,
her? Just him?
well, all 4 of you should, they gave me 3 lines, but.
You seemed to work well with us last year, talked to us and
Yeah.
explained a few things. and-
Need a sheriff call.
Oh, whatever. Oh.
Sign it, yeah. Jonathan, sign it.
Say we need a sheriff call.
Draw a line.
No.
Should have
Far,
started so they
far
can't
from
read.
it.
Otherwise, they're going out of
Yeah.
control.
Mine is not much better.
A little off center, too.
Yeah. He's sleeping over out there. Since it was
You can hear it?
Got 2.
Oh, nice.
So, another thing for you guys to know, it's time to send out our collar renewal paperwork for 2025. So I'm gonna begin working on that.
Is it a collar, did you say?
The haulers, like, Del Molino and Casella, people who pick up trash.
Oh,
They have to
hauler.
be filed, hauler. Yeah, they have to be filed with the state and with us.
And us.
Registered. What else can I tell you? I spent a lot of time, I was appointed the representative district clerk. So the House of Representative seat, there was a challenge, a petition was filed with the state. I had a 4-page, 16-question letter that I had to answer concerning the election, how it, how the process and everything about it. They followed up with me today in a 30 to 40-minute phone call with more questions they had. They told me I may have to testify in front of the legislature and answer questions if needed. I don't know if it will come to that. They have to do an entire investigation and make a report to the legislature, who will at that point decide, will there be a revote for that seat and what it will look like. if all 5 of our towns will have to do a revote, if just Pownell will revote, if only the people that were affected with the earliest ballots will revote. I don't know how they will end up doing it. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, it's really involved. I mean, I spent hours just trying to answer all the questions that they gave me, and I mean, I don't think me as representative clerk really has anything to do with error, but I guess I'm the one in charge of all of it somehow. So, yeah. So I wanted you to know that is in the works. I have no idea where it will go. They do not know if at this point, when the legislative session starts in January, if they will allow Jonathan Cooper to sit, because it's been challenged. But if they don't, then we have no representation. And that's really not a good thing either.
I haven't had it,
They
but
allow both of them to sit until it's resolved.
Makes sense.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at this point, he's been declared the winner until it changes. But.
And this is, I don't know if this has ever happened before, and
She said like 1979.
what was the voter spread? Was there, was it pretty small?
Yeah,
20
25,
something?
I think, or 24.
25.
Stop mailing out ballots.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's simple.
Vote politics.
Listen, go back to the original. If you're out on military, if you're out, if you're out of town, like you're a snowbird, whatever the case may be, everybody, the whole state getting a ballot I knew was gonna be, something was coming, something was happening.
The 10 people got them.
Cost involved, then the cost, the errors, it's happening out throughout the whole country, this is happening.
I got the Wilds ballots, and honestly, I burnt them.
Did you?
Damn right I did.
But that's amazing you got it.
But you could have voted too. How would we, well,
Well, no, because you have to come in with them and you had to check in, but my point is that, like, anybody could get I don't know, I'm not saying that anything was going to
If you
happen.
bring a mail and drop it in there, though, what happens?
I think they're still recorded.
They're not on the checklist.
Oh,
but if they were still on the checklist, nobody knew that they died.
Right, because we go every
Yeah.
2 years.
The state-
Yeah, but I think that, I would assume that the ballot would have some representation of who was voting on it, if they sent them out to everybody.
Yeah, the small towns.
Because if you did send them in, you had to bring them in when you voted.
Right, but if the
I don't know.
Wiles, like say it was 1 year ago,
Yep,
it wasn't challenged yet.
yeah.
Even if they did die, it just moved. And then it comes in, and it could possibly still be on a ballot, or not.
And they would
Yeah.
have to legally count that. Like, they couldn't make
Yeah.
that decision not to because
Right.
they've already gone through all the challenges.
Right.
It just is, it's a big
And
mess.
like you said, when you get into the big cities, it gets really big.
Just make everybody go and vote. If you need to do early voting, do early voting, whatever you need to do, but no more mail-in ballots.
What do you do when people move?
Nightmare.
What do you do when people move? They left Stamford
We challenge them.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
So I have to send them a written letter asking them, do you still live in Stamford, or have you really moved, and can I take
Isn't
you
that kind
off
of
the
a
checklist?
screwed up?
Yeah, they don't have to
If they don't
notify
give me
us.
authority, I don't.
And if it's an
have the
apartment, it's
authority.
even harder. They didn't sell their house.
So the reason why I ask is I think I have 2 of my kids
Once they
that are on
register, they'll get kicked
the
off.
ballots here. I noticed when I voted, neither one of them lived in town.
Well, we have many people like
Did we
that.
challenge them? We don't know if we
They didn't
challenged them.
vote, but I'm just saying,
Well, it doesn't
but
matter.
the point is they're on this one and they're on the town they live in.
Right, that's against the law, that's a federal crime.
So they're voting in their town.
Once they register in that new town with the computer stuff now, it sends me an email to kick them off. But if they don't register,
It's a
So,
And they can register the same day in this town.
my daughter voted in North Adams and she's on our, I think so.
So it
She told me she voted.
didn't go through yet. It's gotta go up to the state and come back to law.
And look at if it's a different state, my daughter lives in Arizona.
You know, she didn't vote in both places, I don't think there's.
Right.
No, I don't think, well, I know that that's not.
But it could be done, because like I said, you could come in here day one, right at the election day, and say, I want to register, vote, and get away with it, you know what I mean? Even though it could be challenged, but who's gonna? Right? Who's gonna say,
How do you
oh,
know?
yeah, oh, Jim's son will do it, I
I
don't know.
challenged one, and he wouldn't sign the affidavit that he lived here.
Yeah.
What, I said,
But it can
you
be
live
done.
here, if, sign the affidavit, and he wouldn't sign it.
I mean, we
so-
have people in this town that don't live here that are still on voting. Right? 100%, not just kids either. They don't live in town. You know, they live in a different town, they don't, but their mailing address is up there,
But they registered through DMV too.
so they could do
Do you
that.
check off that in DMV? Do you read what you're checking off? I'm a registered voter.
I'm just amazed at the amount of voters this past election.
Yeah, that, well,
500 and, wow.
80-something%
was
you
it
said
the
or
result
something?
of mail-in
Over
ballots, or was it the
84%.
result
That's
of
amazing.
people really
Yeah,
wanting?
damn right, it doesn't hurt. That's the way it should be.
But, you know, I don't believe there was very few, like, any people that weren't living here. I mean, there might have been one or two that might have been college kids or something, but other than that, I think it's pretty honest, you know? And that's, like you said, that's unheard of. That just doesn't happen.
Not in small towns.
I think in a small town, because we know everybody, and well, Laurie knows everybody now, and
I don't know, Pittsfield, they get 40%, that's a huge.
Yeah, that's a huge, big thing, yeah. North Adams, 25%, yeah.
That's what we do.
okay, anything else, Laurie, under correspondence?
No.
You sent something to the select board about the John Duper sent a few weeks ago
Oh, yes.
about the permits.
Yes, I did receive a final approval for them just this week.
Yeah. So we had to sign off on permits for Tejan's.
Yeah.
Okay. This is new business. Why don't you just put something in a box tonight about Forest Service?
And they want us to hang that map up, the timber sales area, in 2 different areas.
It's off a county road. It looks like it's beyond Klondike, south of county, and then north of county. But it's all beyond Klondike, and it looks like it goes behind Mr. Jowett's property too there. Yeah, Dave? Okay. And what did they want us to do? I didn't read it.
Just post them
Okay.
somewhere down.
They had that out before, I mean, it's been marked for years.
You want to send us all a copy?
Where
Just
on
you
the tree.
take
I'll
the-
forward it to all of you.
Yeah, forward to all. Okay. Include, oh, wow, it may include plowing a section of county road. So maybe he doesn't have to plow as much as he thought he would. Am I posting this?
Will be a problem.
Maybe sending both landowners up there, they'll notice
Is it
too.
for a bid or is it
Yeah,
for?
you can, like, put the minimum bid in on it. I mean, I think it was all pulp, pretty much firewood pulp.
Or are they actively cutting it and letting us know they're cutting it?
No, they're not cutting it. They're putting it out.
No, you, yeah.
Timber sale will be active
You
this
read,
week.
put the bid in. They tell you what it's worth.
Just be on Tony Bianco's and up.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
been
all the
a while.
marking. I mean, there was a ton of trees marked, but it's
Yeah.
all wearing off now.
Yeah.
I bet you they did that 10 years ago. They just can't, there's nothing there worth.
There's nothing there that's worth.
Good luck trying to sell pulp right now.
Yeah, nobody really wanted to cut it, so. And plus it was like a winter cut, so.
Yeah, and then it's minimizes destruction of forest.
And then you only grow beech later on.
Yeah, white birch.
Did those log trucks do any damage to the road?
Not
What a mess.
necessarily. I shut them down the other day.
Because what were there, 4 that went up today?
Yeah, and I shut them down again today, but.
Okay. Wide loads,
Yeah,
no
they just
flagging, no
doesn't-
nothing, yeah. Yep.
I don't know, I told them the other day that they couldn't truck, because obviously it was 50 degrees, rain, everything was getting soft, and I told them to come back when it froze up, but they showed up today, and there was a section there by McKay's that was a little, they didn't, it was already getting soft, so I told them, no, you can't. Cummins froze. And they respected what I said, so.
Anything else, Lori, new or old? All right,
I have old business.
okay.
Jim is old. No. Oh! I owed you that one.
That's your old,
What are you laughing at?
Oh, there's two Jims, I'm sorry. Oh, no,
You started
I'm sorry. Both of them, no. This is the fiber thing there, we had a harbor money, and it was $7,500.
Yep.
We talked about taking it back. Did we
Yep.
ever decide, what we can do it with? I would like to
Ooh, we gotta designate
get that
it.
done
That's
before the
right.
first of the year. We were talking about throwing it towards something that Dave has.
yep. So we should be getting 7,500 back from DV Fiber. Have you heard
Have you
anything?
questioned it? I have not.
Okay. Yes, we need to designate it
Yeah,
before
well,
the end of the month.
We gotta designate it before the end of the month, so.
Yep, good.
$7,500, what do you wanna throw it at?
How about the town garage, the doors of the town garage?
Okay.
I'm sure we can easily spend it on that.
Something he's got a grant for that.
Huh?
Didn't he just get a grant for that?
No.
Not for the doors.
Oh, no, there's, for the
We got
doors.
like that safety grant there,
The
right?
big, how many doors do you have?
There's 4.
4. I think we got a grant for 3, and then your little one that you walk in and out of on the side.
When was that?
Did you fill it out
Aren't
the,
you like the boss up there?
Yeah, but
Hey, we owe them another one.
I didn't know we got it.
You're old and ugly.
I wasn't at the last meeting, so maybe you guys talked about it then.
That's where it is.
But I hadn't heard about getting the actual.
Yeah, maybe it was the last meeting, it was recently.
Okay, what else you wanna throw it at?
You guys
The
don't
town
talk.
match for the doors?
We can use it towards the heater for the recycling.
The wood stove.
Either for recycling.
And we can use it for some kind of improvement.
Well,
Yeah, how much is the shed gonna cost? He said the shed's rotten out.
Yeah, maybe we should buy another
Yeah.
shed.
yeah.
place?
We probably could get a shed.
Highway department improvement.
Highway department.
Building
I mean,
improvements.
building improvements. We just gotta designate it for something, then we can figure out what you want.
Building maintenance.
We don't even know how long it's gonna take to get it back, it's not in our hands at
I
this
never heard
point.
about it.
Right. Highway department building improvement.
Yeah,
Agreed?
sure.
Motion?
Motion.
Yep.
Yep.
All in favor? Yes. Anything else, Mike?
No, I just got a question about that. What do you need to do? Did you ask him for it back yet? Okay. That's fine. Okay. Nope, I'm good.
You don't want to put it towards a sign?
You're funny.
No, I thought it was signs all taken care of.
Signs, we got.
It is.
Yeah.
I was,
Oh, it's been a long week. A long week. I'm having a tough time with jokes and,
oh, that was a joke.
Yeah,
Because you
thanks.
said you weren't going to bring
Thanks.
up the sign.
no, you're right, it wasn't.
Okay, I attended an update today from the Vermont Department of Taxes regarding their final report that they have to send to the state regarding reappraisals, assessing in town. If anybody wants to read it, it's on the Vermont Department of Tax website. It's 109 pages. I didn't print it out, but you can go there. About 80 people attended the report.
One toilet stay.
That
You're right.
the state, these are all recommendations, nothing is approved yet, well, it might be coming, and I'm pretty sure this 6-year cycle for reappraisal is gonna happen. And
Reappraisal or reassessment?
reappraisal, the whole reappraisal, the whole thing like we just had, every 6 years, the state's gonna require it.
Sweet, as long as it ain't that guy, I'm good.
Yeah.
But they're going to try to lump some towns together. There's, I think, 4 or 5 of us, Stamford and Reedsboro, of the towns. That way it would, and then we could share firms with these towns. It might make it better for the towns to find somebody because we're such a little town that these firms don't want to come here. It's not worth their money. We can share costs. One of the changes is they would like to try to combine local BCAs and have a professional on the BCA with state, and hearing appeals be on the local BCA. It'll be a statewide board. Get a professional on there, because some of their other boards, they have an attorney, a professional for everything they hear. They might want to change the date of the filing of the grand list. Instead of April 1st, it'll be January 1st. What it sounds like is that they are encouraging a lot of sharing among towns. And if you want to read more, there's 109 pages to read, and nothing's set in stone yet.
When will they vote on that, or when will it be set in stone? Or is it a process?
It's a process.
Okay.
This is only their final report to them. Money-wise, we still would get the $8 per parcel that we get right now to maintain the grand list. And as far as helping for reappraisal, no. That's on the town.
But we're mandated to do it every 6 years, that's the...
Yeah, 4 to 6 years. And they feel too that this would be greater for the taxpayers, because we had reappraised probably in 14 years, 10? 17 years. So there was such a big jump between my assessment 17 years ago and the assessment now, that if you're reassessed every 6 years, it wouldn't be that much of a jump.
It'll be more with the market.
Right.
The cost is the same.
Yes, I'm sure.
We'll give the school department more money.
Yeah, that's basically,
That's all they want to do is just
Right.
keep jacking
Well,
it.
that's
That's a no-brainer.
it's a formula. Oh, my assessment went up. Everybody's did. If everybody's goes up, the town budget is,
I'm not talking about the town, I'm talking about the school.
right, the
Yeah,
town
school
budget is what they, the
taxes.
school, that's a state. They
Yeah.
go in, they're
That's why the state wants to do it, that's what my point
Sure
is.
they do.
The statewide, they're talking about statewide taxes going up 6%, did they discuss that?
no. But with this new system, they were saying there'll be like a regional CLA. It won't be at the town set. Which is
CMA or CLA?
CLA.
They called it an L? What's
Common level of appraisal.
okay.
That's based on,
comparative? Yeah, okay.
and the school tax is based on that too.
So, we're so
I know, but this might be coming, we gotta watch it.
Wilmington's over.
Wilmington,
Are we in that
yeah.
area?
I hope not.
Would not be good for us.
No, I
That, we're gonna get hammered.
Yeah, let's see, we are in with,
yeah.
right now, we are in with,
I have a question, so, maybe changing this a little bit. So, a few months ago, the school board and the select board met and discussed possibly the idea of bringing some of the expenses that the school has to the town and just shifting that, not making it more, just shifting how it gets paid for in the budget on the school. Where has that ever gone? Because we're going through budgets now.
Well, so.
I mean, is there any idea?
I would like to
that
ask
town
is,
picks up?
a couple meetings ago, and I don't know if, when I say the other day, it could have been a year ago, so a couple meetings ago, and I can't remember when it was, I asked to sit down with the school and have resume the joint meeting, because in the summertime, they never want to do it. Okay? So the school board, I believe the ball is in their court, and I don't remember anyone getting back to us.
no,
I'm a big advocate of pushing that and saying, look, you guys want to do that, the school wants us to take these numbers, and I agree with you. It makes sense for the tax people that if we could put it over on the town side and there's a grant or whatever, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You're right, we've talked about kicking a can down the road.
Well, I
This
think
has
we're
been
coming
going
to,
forever.
right, we haven't really addressed the school's budget, we're addressing the supervisory union's budget. So I think once we get that, then we can do our local school budget.
I
So
think we
maybe
could have a
that's-
supervisory union and it would be all set.
right.
Yeah.
That topic's come up too, actually, in one
Well,
of our
I
meetings, so.
mentioned that 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and they laughed at me, so.
Well, it's,
I know I got a funny face, but I thought it makes sense.
But I can bring it up, like, we had to cancel our meeting tomorrow, tonight. So we can maybe bring it up at our next meeting when we start doing our budget talk. Let's say,
Yeah, I
hey,
mean,
let's bring this to the town, shift it over to the town.
Literally, it's in the,
So we identify line items that would be appropriate for the town to pick up.
right, but we have to, when we do that, we have to, you know, explain to the townspeople that let's just say the town budget goes up by 10% because of that, we have to explain to them and show that the school budget's gonna go down by 10%.
Is it, yeah.
And is it feasible to do that? You know, my understanding is it is, that the lower we can have the school board budget, the better for the townspeople, because it goes to the state and back, so it's better just to keep it here.
Right,
And
yeah.
get dollar for dollar on this side.
I don't know if they'll
you know.
understand, but the reason we were talking about that is because when we have our school budget goes to the state, they take a chunk out so they can do their work and spend
Right,
their
throw it in a
money. And then we
formula.
get a little tiny chunk of it back.
Right.
So if we can take some of that money that we send to the state and have.
Right, you get dollar for dollar on our.
Better, yeah, we get a better deal.
I think too, Beth, there's certain things that we could take over, but there's other things to run the school that they won't allow us
I
to
think
take
we were
over.
talking things like building expenses, like maintenance of the building, snow blow, whatever we pay for that's related to this, that the whole school, the town benefits from, and maybe if the town, we identified some really good, I forgot what they were exactly, but they were related to the building.
So your chairman,
Yeah.
contact us, we'll have a joint meeting,
Okay.
we'll talk about it, that's what I would say.
So does that mean that if the town takes that over, you're gonna have the authority over that though?
Well, that's one of my big things is, you know, when you say I can't use your building because of X, Y, Z, let's just, for instance, a election where they tell our volunteer elected, or elected volunteers that are over there just helping out, that they can't step out of a spot because it's their school, that doesn't fly with me. And that's been going on for 10 years that I've been here.
They were not allowed to walk around the gym and stretch their legs.
Yeah, so when you hear stuff like that,
They were
it's a
told to
bitterness.
stay in
Well,
their
like,
seats and
that
remain
brought
at
the
their
snowball.
table. They were not allowed to walk around the gym.
I come down,
High school.
I plow the parking lot. Now, when Rich was here,
But
he'd
we're
get here
gonna pay
before
for
me,
their stuff.
pull all the snow out where I could push it away.
Right.
Currently, when we have a storm, I come down, plow the parking lot, and whoever does it can't get here that early enough,
Right.
and then blows all the snow out where I already,
We've already tried to address this last year.
Yeah, that's still going
And
on.
we went to a principal that no longer is here,
right.
and the principal said they would address it, and it didn't happen. And now we have a new principal that I've never met. I thought the principal would come to this board and say, hey, how you doing? I'd like to work with you. But that's the same issue we had last year.
Right, and I know as soon as we start, you know, getting more, it's the timing of the storms, right?
Right. I personally think the janitors should be under our control, not under schools.
Well, if that's the maintenance, if we take over the maintenance part of the building,
Right.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous that I have to come back and clean up a mess
Right.
after I've already cleaned it up. That's wasteful.
Counterproductive, right. We've,
And somebody's gonna, if I don't know about it, or I don't come right away, there's gonna be a slip and fall.
I mean, right now, we just talked about the trash that they have over here. We are lucky enough that there's a woman in town that uses her own truck, that puts trash in her truck and brings it up to the transfer station. I mean, can you imagine? Now, the janitor used to do that, but all of a sudden, I can't do it, and it was allowed. So, okay, I'm not doing it anymore. So we have someone, we're lucky enough for $10 a day, they load their truck up, bring it up, and put it in a train.
So why don't you just get a dumpster?
Because it costs more.
We had, yeah.
Well, and it's in the way.
Anyway, popcorn,
In the
doesn't
town,
get dumped
yeah.
in the summer.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of issues, but we had a janitor that did it all. His job description was never written down by the board. You know, I hate to badmouth the school board that was, and not what is now, you know, I understand that, but we didn't have a job description. We've asked for it numerous times. It's just like this board, we admit when we say we've never done it before. All right, let's get a job description now. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
But this guy, and I'm not blaming the janitor.
Whatever janitor.
Yeah, you got a janitor now that's half of
That
it.
person has to be a security background check, to
Yep.
make sure they're safe to be
Yep.
around kids.
Yeah, you know what my answer was, that I got from the board? Well, Richard's a Superman. We'll hire another Superman. I don't know.
But I think he did more than he got paid for and everything
Well,
he
it's
did.
just like when Kurt would say, we have people that care, and people that don't. Don't people that just say, hey, it's my title, but I don't really care.
Kids that work out here, young ones.
But when that
Well, it's just, they just
school
need to
was
get here at a
built,
certain time.
the gym was
Right.
built for the purpose of being the community.
I agree with you
The
100%.
school can't control it.
We have 3 documents, 3 deeds that say exactly what you just said.
They cannot.
Yep, I agree. I understand that. They can
Right.
control it during their school hours.
No.
After that, they can't.
I can't believe they told me I couldn't get up.
But it's,
What?
I can't believe they told me you can't get up. What was the count for?
you can't look out the windows, you can't walk around.
Election officials could not leave their table and walk around the gym.
And that's not the school board, that's the principal. But my point with the school board, and I'll bring this to the school board, I know this isn't the school board, I'll bring it to them. What authority does the school board have, and what are they doing? Isn't that what their job is, to look in, to be a representative of the people to the principal and the administration and say, hey, look, this is what we're allowing.
Yeah.
Within the guidelines, I understand that, but they're not doing it.
Right, there was a long discussion at our last meeting, and it was more about communication, and how it was communicated. And then we had a superintendent who wasn't familiar with our sharing, the complexity of sharing the town business and the school business, so he didn't understand that.
Would it be possible, not to cut you off, Beth, I'm sorry, would it be possible for the trash to be able to just have that, like maybe somebody in, I don't, what's there, 2 of you, Dave, that work? How many are in the town? I'm
There's
sorry.
2 of us.
There's 2 of you? Maybe one of you guys at one point during the day, of course, provided that there's no catastrophic event going on, that they, hey, I come by at 2 o'clock, make sure the trash is in the barrel outside. They come by, they throw it in the back of the truck and,
They
You
used
guys
to
want,
do
I can
that.
be a teacher too, I can do.
well, I'm not saying you should do that, I'm just saying. for-
Well, we have someone we hired to do that.
Oh.
Yeah. No, we have a girl that we hired.
I thought they were
10 hours
just
a day.
doing it as
But
a-
my point is that, and I mean, it's taken care of, but $10 a day, take your own truck,
Yeah.
put the trash in your truck, bring it up, do it, and be responsible to show up every day for $10 a day. We're very fortunate we have that. That's my point. But before, we didn't have to do that. We had a janitor that cared. You know, that's my whole point is the school is, in my opinion, it's not the board, it's that supervisory union, they're prima donnas. They get away with everything, they get 6-figure salaries. Have you ever met, well, Beth has, but how many people met the superintendent? You know, it's like, he makes all these decisions, but does he come down here and say, hey, how you doing? Does he come to the board or, you know, and introduce himself?
Used to when I was
You know? And when you run your meetings, who runs your meetings?
He does pretty, for the, well,
Why wasn't the chairman of the school board?
Eric is the chairperson, but Eric is the chair, she does her business, but the superintendent gives a report. We talk about the report and how it affects the supervisory union and the school. And then the principal gives a report, and she's, by the way, phenomenal. She's bringing grades up and everything. But she gets her report, and then Erica carries on with the meeting. Erica is the chair of the board.
I know.
So she does.
I know who the chair is, and
But she
I'm not
does
putting her
run.
down, I'm saying is,
But he has, because the business of the supervisory union affects the school.
that, exactly, and they kind of muscle their way in to make all the decisions and kind of push, exactly, just like you said, it's not like the old days. You know,
There was a.
it's just my opinion, it's not the
Right now,
opinion of the
there's a lot-
select board, but.
Right now, there's a lot of discussion because assessments are coming up. We're trying to figure out how we're gonna be assessed.
Well, if they want to talk about budgets, we're more than willing to sit down. and
That's
work.
coming up probably.
We mentioned it months ago.
I'll mention it to the,
They always have a joint meeting. Just show up.
Show up.
asked for.
Just show up.
Right, show up.
For citizens.
Yeah. Well, you guys can go. Yeah, it's open meeting. Yeah.
It's difficult to hear in the gym, very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't let you talk like we let you talk.
Sometimes,
Well, the joint
we're getting a
meetings,
little better
we
about
can.
that, a little bit more.
Joint meetings, we do pretty good, but, I mean, we can talk. But with the school board meetings, you can't wish your
No, I think like 2
they wait
minutes.
till the next time to answer your question.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's not, it's a different principle that's there, so it's a little different how it goes.
Oh, there was some hidden ones. There's hidden ones in here.
You're doing okay, because you haven't had a sheriff there in a while, right?
John found them.
I know, I should put stickies on them there.
Yeah, some of them had double signatures, front and back.
I missed one.
2. But they were hidden, so I can't. I think that's it. Luke is here, so we want to go back into executive session, and we want to do a budget work session and start working on, well, you probably want to leave, so you don't want to do your highway tonight, right?
I want to leave too.
You can't leave.
I think it's a little late.
I signed my name in the wrong place.
Gilmont's still open, somebody will get some beer, we'll sit out.
It's a little late to start the budget at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would agree.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we, next meeting, have another early meeting, start the budget right away?
Was this our last one of the year though, or we got
Yes.
another one?
This is the last one.
I don't think it much matters. I mean, we operate on the budget, it's not even approved, so.
Well, we did come out, we did make a motion to, we'll have to go back in for the,
It really just matters if we have it, so we're more used to.
We still have to
So you need
do
to,
the executive session with Luke,
right.
so it's 8 o'clock now.
so to give you some deadlines, you are going to want to sign your warrant on January 30th, which means your entire budget has to be reviewed, decided, finalized. by
That's
that.
our last day.
That's your very, very last day,
So we probably will be meeting every Thursday in
January.
January, or come in very early to work on budgets.
I mean, we have to.
Yep.
I don't have a problem.
We'll
with
have to
it.
see what, or keep a light agenda.
But I'd rather come in every Thursday than stay till 10 tonight.
Oh, I don't want to stay till
Other
10.
things I need
No, I
to
don't want to stay till 10.
Just say,
Lori, executive session on the probable civil litigation?
No.
Nothing, okay. Just keep that on so we can go in when we hear something.
Thanks, everybody, for
So,
coming.
Did you lose something?
no. So do we want to, oh dear. So do we want to make a motion to go into executive session?
Don't you ever answer your phone? I got a new one, that's why. I've called you a half a dozen times, but I quit. Okay. You want my new number? Want to? Yeah, call me. All right, I'll call you.
Bob and I only were colleagues.
I had somebody call me wanting to buy some stuff, and I said, I'll send you his number. Call me back for a short time after. No, it's okay. He'll get back to you. Well over a year ago. That was well over a year ago. Probably a year ago. I called you. I don't care. Well, just call Luke, know what's going on. I gave him the website to see if there's things in there.
did your father go down there and look, and what did he say?
He figures we got some.
He says,